Alright guys, Technical Bit here, back again today. This video is going live on Saturday, October the 5th, I believe. So apologies if anything drastic has happened today. I'm pre-recording this a week in advance because I'm going away next weekend. So I know that Saturday next week I won't be able to do a video, so I'll have to just make this in advance, and hopefully this will be adequate content for you guys. So today I wanted to talk about a dichotomy really between high time to kill and low time to kill, and whether and what impact this has on the overall skill gap in Call of Duty, because I'm sure there's a lot of variation in this and I don't really think it's a topic that's discussed so much, so I thought I would go into it today. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Like if you do, subscribe if you are new, as always I would greatly appreciate it. Tomorrow I should be back just in time to make a video for whatever might have happened this weekend that I might have missed, and then I think yesterday I should have had a video out, so no problems there. So anyway, today I'm going to go into that. First of all, a couple of other things to discuss. So yeah, let's hop right into it. This is an interesting thing. This came out quite a long time ago now from when you guys are watching this video, only a few days ago from when I'm recording it, but we've talked a lot about this Bad Moon talent organization that Andrew Drake, formerly of MLG Activision Blizzard, and Bryce Vicento, of course, former professional Call of Duty player and coach for the World Championship winning E-United squad. Now, they started this organization, Bad Moon Talent, who at the time of recording, I'm not even sure they officially have their talent license or whatever yet, but they've signed up the likes of Maven, they've got Nameless on the team, they've got a number of professional players who have signed with them, a lot of it through like kind of friendship ties, like the Oak Boys kind of thing, like I think JCap and Enable signed onto this Bad Moon Talent organization, kind of as their talent organization, but as their like player management as well to that degree. So what's interesting here is that this article came out regarding Scump. UTA is building on its burgeoning esports division with the signing of Seth Scump Abner, who the talent agency will rep in all areas of his career. So really interesting stuff how the likes of Scump, the likes of Nick Merckx, Hex, Pokimane, I don't know actually how you meant to pronounce that, I'm just going to say Pokey, whatever. These big name individuals are signed with UTA, right, as their talent organization. I thought it was interesting just to bring up here as a bit of news that I haven't covered over the last week that I thought I'd just throw in here at the start of this video. Interesting, considering Bad Moon Talent has signed a lot of players. Also got this Clover talent organization, but Scump follows the route of Hex and signs here for UTA. So Abner's known as being one of the best CoD players in history, of course. 27 major championship victories. That is pretty mental. So clearly UTA are very competent in regarding like multiple areas of players' talents, right? When they have great talents in terms of their esports side, but they also have the content side as well, which is kind of goes along with a lot of these names here. So let's move onwards from that towards this little bit of news I thought I would mention. So thanks to Dylan Harris for pointing this out to me. Thought this is pretty interesting. Ryan Sherman, former Super Bowl champ as far as I'm aware, has become a shareholder in Enthusiast Gaming, who own Luminosity. So I thought this is something I'd run past you. He has like a 7-minute interview here with BNN Bloomberg. So I'll leave that linked down below if you guys would like to check it out. Now, I thought this is interesting because Enthusiast Gaming, who own Luminosity, have also owned the Seattle spot for this year's upcoming CDL. So I thought I'd run that past you guys. So moving onwards then to the main couple of tweets I wanted to mention here that I did talk about a couple of weeks ago, but I thought I would bring up once again now. So this is what Ake said regarding the Modern Warfare beta, which I thought you guys would find interesting if you haven't seen it quite yet. If they put the minimap back to normal and scrap the personal UAV, also adjust headshot multiplier and swap some perks around, I think the time to kill is perfect. So this is the really interesting part of the question here, because a lot of people said that when Black Ops 4 came out, it increased the skill gap in terms of the amount of bullets you had to kill, and I think that definitely makes a lot of sense. Aches, of course, goes down the other route. It feels a bit higher on Ghost than Ghost, which is on par for Infinity Ward, and feels honestly somewhat similar to Infinite Warfare if you guys played that game. The gunplay is awesome. Lower TTK equals higher skill gap because you are actually punished for making a bad play. Good play equals rewarding. Forcing less bad plays plus more good plays equals higher skill gap. Now, there's definitely a good argument that he makes here. A lot of people said in Black Ops 4, for example, the best players in the game are the guys like Dashi, are the guys like Simp, who have the insane shots. Like, I think I remember even Ake saying this in an interview, how everyone pretty much shoots straight nowadays, but Dashi and Simp, they shoot a little bit straighter than some other guys, and I think he mentioned Hook in the conversation as well. Now, there's definitely a degree to which that is true. In Black Ops 4, the guys with the best aim, like some people like Dylan, who would hit 6 bullets like 6 bullets in a row without missing, whereas their opponent might hit like, I don't know, say a player that doesn't quite have as good aim, but still very good aim, a guy like Silly, for example, or whoever, don't want to throw anyone under the bus really, but they might hit 6 shots out of their 7. They might miss 1 bullet, whereas the guy with the very best aim might not miss a bullet at all. Whereas in a game with a faster time to kill, say 3 or 4 bullets, both players are going to be able to hit those 3 or 4 bullets first. There's no separation there. So I think both arguments have their credits, and I think it really depends on the game mode as to which thing is more true. In Black Ops 4, the issue, as well as the time to kill being very slow, I guess, very high, was also that you had the stim, the fact that you could get hit and you could get weakened, go behind cover, stim up and jump back out without any issues at all, and it really was very difficult for someone holding an angle to get 2 kills when the first guy that comes around the corner is going to eat 6 bullets, especially if the first guy shoulder peeks or something and then you shoot at him, then he regens, then he flies back out at you, and now you've got no bullets to even possibly take down a second player anyway. So there's an element to that. Just to finish off X's tweet here then, this narrative that a high skill gap is people that can just run around and make any bad play they want and abuse a mechanic that isn't meant to be abused and gets a flashy 2-piece is nonsense. High TTK in Black Ops 4 plus stim for X allowed endless peeking for info along with many other things. Definitely agree with this. The fact that you can shoulder peek again and again and again and keep making bad plays is obviously not a good idea, and I think that stim is the main cause of that. I don't think the high time to kill is that much of a big deal, but I do think that on the whole the skill gap in Black Ops 4 did seem to be somewhat lower because of the fact that anyone can kind of make these bad plays, and I think that Aches obviously has a vested interest here because he's one of the players that doesn't have the best aim in the game, doesn't have necessarily the best movement, that could slide around, jump around, whatever. And I'm sure some of the guys that are really good at those type of games would say the opposite, right? And they make arguments both ways. But I think Aches' argument is definitely valid in terms of what type of skill are we talking about? Are we talking about pure mechanical skill? In which case Black Ops 4 and the jetpack games have taken the most skill. Especially I think Infinite Warfare took a lot of skill given that the aim assist in that game was pretty damn low. You had to fly around with the movement, you could slide, you could war, and you could like wall bounce kind of thing. Especially in Black Ops 3 and these games. That kind of mechanical movement, if we're talking about that kind of skill, then of course the jetpack games and the faster paced games have the higher skill gap in terms of a guy like Illy, for example, playing Search and Destroy tournaments. His movement around the map in Black Ops 3 was something else. I've never seen anything like it, and I think Shotzi and Illy are in a similar boat here when I've seen them play Black Ops 4. They cannot be touched. Their skill in terms of that kind of movement and that aim and being able to shoulder peek and all of these things, like, for example, Jerd in World War II was incredibly well known for how good he could shoulder peek, and we've talked about the same thing in Black Ops 4. There's an obvious skill gap in terms of the mechanics that some players are better than the likes of Aches, the likes of JCap. However, these players have their advantages in other sectors. They have the advantages in terms of choosing the right play all the time, going to the right head glitch at the right time, reading the enemy position, whereas in Black Ops 4 it was very forgiving. You could make a bad play, like over peek for example, but you could still get behind cover and stim up and manage to get away with it due to the high time to kill, but mainly due to the stim. Now, as I was going into, I think that it does to some degree depend on the game mode we are playing. In Search and Destroy, lower time to kill tends to increase the skill gap in my opinion, and that means when you can die faster. When we look back at Infinite Warfare, what did we see but 4 players running around the map the entire time, just 4 hits on defense, 4 hits on offense, and part of that was because you could move very quickly, and because the time to kill wasn't insanely quick, and we saw a very similar thing in Black Ops 4, if you could just stack up and hit a bomb site together, you would have a lot of success, because the poor person holding on a head glitch, let's say they're set up very nicely, they're on the head glitch, they're ready to go, one guy jumps around the corner, followed by a second, the first guy is going to take about 6 bullets to kill, 5-6 bullets, once you've got rid of him, your aim is all over the place, and the second guy is going to be very difficult to snap on and kill again, especially if you've got like 3 guys jumping around the corner at you. Back in a game like Ghosts, that was not happening. If you had a Remington set up on the back of a truck head glitch and 2 guys jump around the corner, you're getting both kills 90% of the time. Whereas in Black Ops 4, if that same thing happens, you're getting both kills maybe 30-40% of the time, right? Now, I don't like that I don't like the fact that that play works. The fact that you can just fly out there, not have to really shoulder peek or play for information or whatever, and just go for it and still get away with the play. In my opinion, that takes less skill. You can be on the most powerful head glitch. You can have set yourself up nicely, used all your equipment to get yourself in this position, but then still two guys come flying around a corner, not a care in the world, and it's still pretty much impossible for you to take down both of them. In that scenario, I feel like the lower time to kill is better for the game, and I think Ghost Search and Destroy played probably one of the best ever. Because you died so quickly, you had to make good plays. If you made bad plays, you got punished all the time. Black Ops 4, that wasn't the case. I think in respawns though, it's somewhat different, because if you do have this really fast time to kill, it slows the game down very, very much. You have a game like kind of World War II where people just set up on head glitches the entire time. Or maybe it doesn't take so much skill to be a player like Methods and just sit behind a head glitch. Like, yes, you can put yourself in that power position, and maybe that's the best play, but the fact that that is meant to be the most skilled play to sit on a head glitch and hold an angle maybe isn't so true. So I think it's got to be somewhere in the middle. Of course, Aches has his position because he's not one of the most mechanically gifted players, but he is good in terms of his intuition and his ability to read teams and to command his team around the map and to put himself in the best possible position. That is a different type of skill for me, and a high time to kill creates the mechanical skill coming to the forefront, and the lower time to kill creates that other intangible to some degree element of your gameplay to the forefront. So somewhere in the middle is probably the most combined attitude. Black Ops 4 is probably the game that's required the most mechanical gift. I think the players that rose to the top in that game largely had incredible aim and had some of the best in the game. Of course, we have to also say that when we look at the, World War II, for example, which had a lower time to kill, a faster time to kill, a lot of the similar players were on top, which shows that a lot of these guys, not only do they have the mechanical gifts, but they also have the intangibles. Of course, the very best players in the game, they have both. That's why Aches isn't going to be one of the best players in the game this year, but he might be an average player because he has those intangible elements. But equally, a player in Black Ops 4 who could have been cracked out of his mind and played really well in terms of his movement and all this stuff. I don't know, let's say a guy like Profizi, for example, who was a pretty solid player in the league this year, had put up pretty decent stats, but maybe doesn't make the best decisions, right? And a player like that will get punished heavily in Modern Warfare, whereas he wouldn't have done in Black Ops 4. So that's kind of my conclusion here. As to which takes more skill, I would say it's a different type of skill. I do prefer the games that have a slightly faster time to kill, because you get punished for less, you get punished more easily for making bad plays. However, I think Black Ops 4 may have been pretty much perfect in that regard if we didn't have the stim shot, and maybe without the stim, if that wasn't allowed in the game, even though I felt it kind of felt pretty natural, it's kind of nice to use, if that wasn't in the game, the game may have played better competitively, but it may have been slower and slightly more dull, and that's probably another conversation for another day. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching as always. I will see you next time.